next, we are joined by a highly respected industry veteran and transformation strategist, Mr. Shirish Kulkarni, founder and CEO of Strota Consultech. He has over 30 years of corporate experience across renowned organizations like KSP Pumps, Tata Motors, TCS, BMC Software, Tata Consulting Engineers, and Geometric Software. He has held several roles in design consultancy, internal IT management, R&D, and end-to-end product development. Over the last decade, he has been focusing on efforts on advertising and enabling the growth in small and medium business segments. He brings a unique blend of operational insights and strategic thinking, having evaluated over 250 businesses and successfully guided major organizational transformations. Please give it up for Mr. Shirish Kulkarni.
Forward, backward. Another mic. Great. Good afternoon, or we are almost good evening. But I'm so happy. I'm honored to be part of this session and to be in front of you. Thanks to all of you to have the patience to stay around. And we are going to ensure that the next two sessions are there. We'll stay around for that also, to make sure that the other speaker also get that respect that they deserve. So it's a core topic about AI and how it actually takes us into. Okay. I'm just trying to learn this technology. Okay, so great to be in front of you. What we will do is basically go through why AI is required, briefly what is AI, how it has got use cases in manufacturing. We'll go a little bit in a layer down of where it hits the data, where do you have data in manufacturing, and how it matters, what are the kind of things that you see in the horizon that we talk about AI as such, what are going to be happening for sure in the world, where are we as Indians or Indian companies as far as MSMEs are concerned, as far as corporates are concerned. We will quickly look at the maturity that we have in that space, and then we will actually delve into some of the things that will actually honestly say that it is definitely going to take some time. This slide is basically talking about I being part of TCS as a head of manufacturing excellence, as a domain practice head around 10 years back. I had a kind of drive for giving back my skills and knowledge across the world. So I'm helping small and medium businesses to streamline and grow. So touched around 250 of them to be actually connected with research and whatever I talk to make sense to you all. I'm doing my PhD also in electric vehicle drivetrain optimization. So modeling, simulation, as well as experimentation. So I think it definitely resonates with all the simulation world that we have, the complete end-to-end product development, manufacturing, as well as what eventually gets seen by the end customers. I am part of ISG, Information Services Group, a group which is similar to Gartner Forrester, multi-billion-dollar company, a research and analyst firm, as lead analyst in the focus area of digital transformation, manufacturing. One of my studies coming out on the mobility, connected vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and software-defined vehicles. So basically talking to all the who's in this space, like McKinsey's, Accenture's, and actually defining where they are placed and where they should be placed in the future. So it's a privilege, what the point that I'm trying to drive back is knowledge is power. Your ability to think is what actually will matter for you. So let's go further. Let's see whether technology works. This is the last research that I have submitted. Just let's try to scan this, and you're able to lead to that research. You can, look at it and maybe read it later. This is about what should happen in the digital engineering space, and this is published in 2023. As such, manufacturing excellence, we will actually look at complete value chain. What are the reasons that we are actually trying to do? Why do you require, say, Industry 4.0? Actually, artificial intelligence is one of the legs of Industry 4.0, right? Okay, it works. You could get to that. Wonderful. So, thanks to the technology, this is another one. Industry 5.0 is something that we have been trying to pioneer across. Industry 5.0 has been there in Europe around 3 years back. In India, we are trying to do it from last 1 year. There is a perspective already published. There is another perspective about Industry 4.0, a frugal way, how we should, as Indians, look at it. There is a lot of, let me give a perspective about 4.0 and where it stands. Industry 4.0 is absolutely great technology pieces, and we should actually, as industry, look at it, adopt it. But a caution has happened is where the promises that we have made, the way that we actually, as part of management, build those business cases, and maybe as integrators, the way that we have sold it, we have made some over promises. And last 3 to 5 years, maybe 7 years, it has not delivered those promises. To be very honest, I'm working very close with MCCI, NASSCOM, and now there is a way that we are actually re-educating individuals to look at how it will matter, and then the approach, which is a frugal approach, which is called as minimalistic approach, in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, what you should do without spending much of money, and eventually get into the business cycle where it will start hitting the bottom line, the way that Mr. Lamba said, immediately in 30, 60, 90 days, and eventually how you can get to the top line, eventually to your benefits. Moving further, so let's look at how it impacts us as AI. We are looking at all the portions of our life. We are seeing autonomous vehicles, we are seeing connected vehicles, we are seeing our life is definitely improved. You see a piece of mobile phone that you have in your hand, and a lot of things are already there. Artificial intelligence actually looks at different dimensions. Let me kind of tell you where this artificial intelligence comes from. And actually my seminar 20 years back, maybe 30 years back, in 1990, was on expert systems. Okay? So it is not something which is new. It is absolutely existing all across, but definitely it has taken different shape. Now, how many of you know about big data? Right, big data, right? But data has been there, right? I mean, all this is equipment that you have, maintenance pieces that you have, everything that rotates, everything that drills, all machines that work, data had been there. Aeroplanes flying, right? Years together. So data had been there. It has been coined as a big data with the veracity and the way that you want to compute it in memory, trying to find out the way that you want to deliver it. So IBM's, Oracle's, SAP have actually got them into something called as in-memory computing, and they have coined it as big data. Big data now, did we not have artificial intelligence expert systems earlier? Yes, all those systems are there. What it basically helps us is based on data, you are able to make some decisions. Decisions could be as simple as yes and no, a decision tree having yes and no as tree structure, or it could go as a protocol, say in the doctor's parlance, in medical terms, that you look at the symptoms and go and finally look at something that has happened, right? So expert system is a basis of all AI thing that we are talking about. Now think about the big data that we have. So we have a huge data and you have to make sense out of it, right? AI basically helps you fact-based decision making. It is completely based on data, so it could be right, it could be wrong. the way that you interpret it, the way that you feed it in. So there are two risks currently as we see for artificial intelligence. One is how you build this data set where you are actually going to base your decision. So database could be in the form of maintenance data that you have, tooltip data that you have, bearing vibration data that you have. So that is the data. How effectively you are able to capture the data will define accuracy of your model. So that is 1 degree of accuracy. The second is the impact that you will have by the decision that you take based on this data that you have or model that you have created is the second level of risk that you see in AI. Now think about AI hinting a doctor to say that this particular patient is dead or he is suffering with cancer and you actually approving it is the kind of risk that the outcome says. So there are two risks which actually AI has and manufacturing also inherits sets. One is the data, the way that you acquire data, accuracy of data, modeling, and hence eventually the way that you interpret it. Okay? So there are these types that you actually see. I'm not going to go in depth of what is deep learning, machine learning, but it is simply where now you have some model, right? Suppose you are trying to build Shirish Kulkarni. Now let's imagine a use case where you are trying to use and create a Shirish Kulkarni, a replica of Shirish Kulkarni called as digital twin of Shirish Kulkarni, and actually able to understand everything that Shirish Kulkarni behaves like. So he gets a call and the way that he speaks. So suppose we are recording everything. So we are actually training our model. We are building our model of Shirish Kulkarni and we are training it. More we train it, it will slowly understand that Shirish Kulkarni in the morning says things like this. Shirish Kulkarni to his wife responds like this. Shirish Kulkarni, whenever he gets a call from a bank, his response is like this. So we are training it. More and more that we train, our model will be more intelligent, more accurate, and maybe after 3 years, 4 years, it can replace Shirish Kulkarni for 70% of time. You're getting it? So it is as simple as that. And you talk about something that you are actually giving the model in the writing, the use cases, which are like machine given. Like any software that we write test cases, right? Okay, you click it like this, do it like this. Those are simple machine learning cases. Whenever you talk about certain fields and senses that you are actually giving that as an input, that is deep learning. Whenever you build insights about things that you want to input and hence deduct, that is deep learning. And AI models are now equipped to go to those levels where I have a slide on all the possible human senses are getting modeled through this. It could be touch, it could be vision, and you will see all those are pillars for us to make manufacturing more human-like and less humanly. So if you see the whole journey of smart manufacturing to make it more intelligent, to move it from Industry 4.0, to make it more human-less, make it more less error-prone, less manual intervention, is where you are trying to replicate all those capabilities that human has and the controls that human has across the value chain, getting replicated by this sets of AI agents, as we can call it. Okay? So let's go further. So this is the way that we are actually looking at all the possible senses getting replicated with AI. Now, why? Right? So I think we are all convinced about that we require Industry 4.0 or we require a little bit of hype on that. We know that, we are continuously under pressure from the business. We have, don't have a time, and again we require faster reach to market. We want to reduce the prices, and actually customers are behind us to have more and more variants of the, at low cost or low price for them, right? So these are mandatory things that we need to actually take care. So customer wants more in less, more standardization is something that will help us. Smarter processes and products. Now smart, remember this word smart. If you remember the name of the title of this presentation, it was how AI will make processes smart, intelligent, and predictable. These are three maturity stages. Okay, so let's go to the next slide and we will say more about that. So all this is possible with Industry 4.0. And everybody knows about it, and people have been selling 4.0 based on this. Okay? So what we are actually looking at is, if we do a lot with 4.0, with just a focus on productivity, reducing human beings, making sure that we just produce, we don't think much about human beings, we don't think about society, we just actually make sure that everything is automated, self-decision making. We'll get something called as dark factories. Right? Everything is robotic based, and those decisions are getting taken. So no middleman. Trusted interface is actually a very deep meaning that I'll open up later whenever we actually connect end-to-end value chain and we talk about blockchain as a next generation use case for AI. Okay, remember this word, no middleman and trusted interface. Remote working, virtual Gemba. Gemba is something that you go in the place, right, and see what is right and wrong. So that is Gemba. You are able to use AR, VR to really get into something which is virtual Gemba. You don't really need to get there. Better data, better insights, AI. AI is definitely something which has come. There is a question, there are two questions that we'll answer about AI, whether it will impact job profiles, job market. Second, whether it is going to kill human being. Because you might have seen that small clip, humanoid was asked a question that, in case you are required to kill a human being, will you kill it? Answer was given. It is AI driven, right? Whatever data you give, it said yes. It created a lot of hassles, and that will go to that question about what is the risk of AI? Okay, so I actually give a very simple example. We created computers and software. Human created it, right? And same human created also virus. So you have a malicious kind of intention to misuse the kind of system that we have, very powerful system to help us. This kind of things will happen. So there are forums across in the world to answer you. There are 6-7 forums, I have the names, which are actually continuously working not only on the cases which are constructive for not only manufacturing as a vertical, other verticals, but how to make sure that those are safe, not biased, those are not resulting into any risk to human being. So that's a big, instead of the research that should happen on the way that, it will lead to some use cases which will help, it is actually protecting against anything that it will create as a risk or not. So that is the deterrent for the AI. Skills, I'll quickly answer, whether it will hit, and I think it was answered a little bit, whether it will hit some of the jobs, yes. Jobs which are actually repetitive, mundane, easily to be done, that we were enjoying, 9 to 5. There is a state race that, whatever AI can do, whatever software program can do, 1 plus 1, 2, I think there is no brain behind that. We as human beings should ridicule that, and we should actually migrate ourselves. Systemic way of doing it is where we have a heat map of where all AI hits, in which functions, in which of the industries, and wherever there is a red mark, those jobs are going to actually be performed by agents, AI agents, automatically. So if you want to say that those individuals and functions are on risk, yes, those are on risk. Let's accept it and make sure that you migrate all of them by cross-training them into the areas in which you have tenacity, you have inner knowledge, you have abilities, you have threshold setting, planning for AI. All those are the functions that we need to move our people into. So that is the straight answer on that. Okay, I think too much, right? Okay, let's go further. I will not talk much, but this is an image for smart manufacturing where we are trying to make it more innovation-centric, more efficiency-centric, having more agility and reducing the risk, okay? By the way, any name that you will see, it's not something as a brand that I am trying to promote here. These are taken and I'm giving all the credit to those individuals who have created it. So mechanization has been existing, right? I'm just trying to bring more humor that, it's very natural to move in the mechanism way in which, even Charlie Chaplin was trying to do it, and you will see that, he finally ends up in eating nut and bolt. So we want to avoid it. I'm trying to bring this one to help us to understand why 5.0 is required. Right? 4.0 to 5.0, somebody was asking 6.0. I have not seen, definition of 6.0 on the horizon. So let's wait, let's not rush. 5.0, I will say that the definition is there, it is something that is built on 3 pillars where human is getting brought back to control, putting the thresholds in the place. Rather than just taking and eliminating human being, it is important to have it. AI also requires it. So human being is brought back. That is one pillar. The second pillar is sustainability, where anyway we are looking at carbon footprint, everything to be existing for a longer duration. Third pillar is agility. Okay, agility is ability of organization to do better and better in case that you have a kind of a calamity like pandemic. Can we do, we have not been planning that much. If you look at only Industry 4.0, it could be plant-centric, it could be factory-centric, it could be company-centric. Now, 5.0 actually looks at the whole company, also the ecosystem behind. We are talking about family 5.0. So the whole ecosystem, so carbon footprint, sustenance of the whole kind of a village together or city together is getting taken care. Life of individual, not only as employee, like this, but beyond a life in family is also getting considered in 5.0. That is the reason of 5.0 that is being required. So we have seen this. I was actually doing some research. I've seen 6 to 7 movies, full movies on artificial intelligence created individuals and complete, I can give that list to you, and it is very interesting. If you remember like Star Trek earlier, that Captain Kirk used to have the flip phone. Within 15, 20, 30 years that we had that phone from Motorola. So what my point is that if we can think of something like in Star Trek, if we are thinking that, Wally is having feelings, that Wally is sad, this Eva is happy. They had a love affair. If we are able to see this, and this movie is very interesting, I'll give you what is not too much and what should not be too much. Earth is shown to have been full of garbage. Okay? So human race decides that they will not see here. All this is garbage, so we'll keep Mr. Wally there, small robo only, and we'll go outside in the space. So you go outside, the whole space shuttle is controlled by AI. See how deep-rooted even the movies are. Okay? Then this chap is supposed to be finding out any life on the earth. Whenever he sees a life, he has to give that message to the space shuttle. But the space shuttle will come back and the human race will start back. This guy finds his love, Eva. He also finds a small, a life there, small plant. He sends that, goes back to that shuttle, and then AI decides that we will not go back because that AI will lose the power. And there is a struggle in which, again, the human race wins over that AI. That is shown. So imagine that, like similar plot of movies, you will find 5 to 6, and if you want, you can contact me later. Where are we on robotics and humanoid? See this. We are already there. Okay? There are some more examples. She is the one who said that, I'll kill you as a human being. This might be around 6 months old as clips that I've captured. This one is going to win. See that. Okay, move further. some more ones just to entertain us a little bit. How replication is possible, you know. This guy just shows the picture here, and the robo is able to create that picture. Visual interpretation. Okay? Okay, so some of the examples of humanoids, this is existing. My point is that let's not talk about AI to be there, not to be adopted. It's there. This is super advanced. It talks about all senses, 5 senses we saw. And this is the way that it is happening right now. We better be ready. Let's not be sitting on the fence. In manufacturing, all this is possible. Okay? If it is going to happen in healthcare, if it is happening in the pharma, if it is coming in the movie, it's possible. Okay? Is it really true? I'm asking you. Okay, so this complex slide was coming, so I made it more interesting. These are all possibilities that you will see across in the organization. I'm not talking about manufacturing. Manufacturing, I'm taking it as the whole manufacturing organization that you will see. You can take snapshot of this. Marketing, transport, everything is covered. All the end-to-end. You have insurance, you have retail, you have healthcare, you have finance. All departments are covered. AI is going to be there. Now what AI requires there is that business process has to be modeled. You need to collect all the possible data that you have. You get them connected. So your financial system has to be connected to the order management system. You saw all those dashboards, right? कैसे बनेंगे वो dashboard? वो data connect करके उसने extract किया ना सबसे. So you need them to be connected. You then need to interpret them. You create a dashboard, so you create the visibility across. So your top management looks at only that dashboard. Looks at also something which is upstream, something that is coming from vendors, something which is downstream, which is supposed to be shipped to the customer and payment to be received. Dr. Lamba said that, right? पैसा कितना आना है? सब पैसा है लेकिन बैंक में नहीं है. So we have to look at the profit. See, let's not get to, and you know, I'm not as blunt as Mr. Lamba was. Let's not get scared away by AI. Let's not go and lure away on the basis of making it agile, visible and all that. Let's talk about profitability. So I basically work on profitability first. Bottom line दिखा दो. पैसा कहाँ पे सेव होता है? Okay. So let's look at those things. This graph is very interesting. What it shows is basically a landscape of how technology will rise and fall. This is a very interesting thing that, see, I have been in the consulting space for more than 10, 15 years, been looking at this. We should all, from corporates, all who are in this space should look at it. Entrepreneurs also should look at it. Startup companies should look at it like, should I look at, atomic system as something that I want to invest in as a research project, say in Dassault system? Now, what this means basically is that, this dot that you have would last for 3 to 5 years. I think there is a lesion that is missing. So this one might be 10 years. This might be, taking it for 5 years. Based on that, you actually make that, and you will see that computer vision is sunsetting, gone. Intelligent applications, gone. Knowledge graphs, gone. Every year, Gartner helps us, publishes this outside. So we should base our decisions on this, right? Okay, all agree? थोड़ा heavy हो रहा है ना? चलो ठीक है. Let's go to something more interesting. Where do we stand? I think we are there. Digitally, all will agree that we have ample, and I'm not actually promoting any of this UPI or Nandan Nilekani kind of thing, but whatever he says, whatever he has done, whatever is transferred in numbers is something getting shown. So digitally we are there. The way that I showed all the humanoids in the world, we are, as India, progressed enough. We have the digital infrastructure. Industry 4.0 might be accepted on the scale of 5, 3.5, maybe 3.6 as a maturity. MSAB might be, as low as 2, but we are not to leave it. Now, the way that I look at 5.0, some people ask, 4.0 नहीं हुआ तो 5.0 कहाँ से बात कर रहे हो आप? We should look at 5.0. What is that I don't want to do? I am not doing it intentionally, and I am hence doing 4.0 for this purpose with this bottom line increase. Is the way that I would say we should look at 5.0. We have to know everything that is happening in the world. We have to be leaders in the way that we think. If you see in ISG, if I am a lead analyst, I define, let it be Accenture, McKinsey, whoever. It is not something that is, out of extra pride. That you have to actually have this use case where you define blockchain next time to differentiate from other providers. If I'm able to do it, everybody should be able to do it, right? Okay, moving forward, I think these are various areas in which I'm showing that, you have press line, you have die casting line, you have assembly, complex type of manufacturing. Every place you have data, you have an interpretation to be done, you have human beings, you want to translate that into something that you want to make automated, make fact-based decision making, make sure that you are actually having it integrated. You have to make it less human. All these things that we want to do, right? Smart is covered. Smart manufacturing is covered. Industry 4.0 is covered here. All right. So how do you see now in the landscape of the whole manufacturing, where you see product development? We saw a great presentation on Dassault on the product development side, where AI could be used for automation, optimization, multi-equation studies, right? Similarly, you have various aspects of value chain. You have ERP roadmap, and all that data is lying in various heterogeneous systems, places, physically not connected. So first thing is that you want to get it connected, make it visible. If you have 5, 10 plants, you want to make sure that your central plant or otherwise you are able to see it visibly in the form of dashboard. You want to make it automated. You have to simulate it. Okay, simulation, I'll just step back. I think he alluded to the fact of digital twin. Digital twin क्या है? I'm not ridiculing. But digital twin, whatever you model in computer is a digital twin. इतना simple definition है. Suppose I was creating something in AutoCAD, two-dimensional. Was a two-dimensional digital twin. when I was in Tata Motors, I created the complete engine model, 4-wheel engine. That was a digital twin, but not called as a digital twin. Okay, so digital twins are of two types. One, basically you want to replicate everything that you have in physical to digital. So you have product that you can represent as a digital twin, and you can have process, the whole manufacturing process that you can represent as a digital twin. So there are two types of digital twin. The next thing that comes, which actually connects and which actually is important for us, this is a slide which is IP to me, so you can take copies because it is mine. So digital thread is the next concept, which actually connects all the dots together and makes this track and trace across possible, because each process that you have is going to have a value add, it is going to have a timestamp, it is going to know what shift it was made, it is going to know what machine it was made, it is going to know who worked on it, and it was right or wrong. If at all you have to have a recall of some products later on for a product which went wrong in the field, this is going to help you. But track and trace was there earlier also. It is now rebranded to be digital thread. Digital thread, next step. If you see, digital thread is nothing but everything which is actually tracked with complete timestamp getting recorded, right? What is blockchain? We never talk about blockchain in manufacturing as a parlance. This is a new concept, but I'll just coin it. I'll leave it there. I will not spend time. There are only 2 providers working in the world in manufacturing space. I'll give that data point to you right now. So if you want to be ahead of time, make sure that you spend time on that. On that curve, it might be something that is going up for manufacturing. Blockchain is where actually you build a trust. You create that agreement that, okay, between these 2 points, I don't need any approvals. So money will go, design will get approved. All those points where you have handshakes, all the middlemen, remember that trust is created and middlemen are removed. Can you imagine our RTO without agents? Can you imagine our insurance working without agents? Can you imagine the use case, I think, was getting eluded where our car goes, it gets hit by something, image is getting taken, it is automatically going to the healthcare. Healthcare is going to find out, what pulse you have. They have the data. Your vehicle is looking at, what expenses. It will go to garage automatically. All that is likely to happen, right? Though, if I'm imagining, it is going to happen, right? Okay. So, looking at that simulated. So, we covered most part of how it is. So, we have to make sure that it is decision making. Patterns are getting recognized. So, we want to know that, whether our revenue is increasing or not. Only looking at number, we don't decipher anything. Our profitability is increasing or not. By what percentage? So, it should be correcting. I have not said self-correcting. It could be self-correcting. You could write a rule, yeah. Come on. If my percentage increase in my profitability is 10%, 2% of it, actually, I will keep it for R&D. Simple rule. Is there AI into this? These are business rules that you write in AI. And make it more complicated. Base it on more data that you actually put in, also by experience, and make it more and more complicated. Make it autonomous, self-learning. Optimizing. I think this is where actually we are getting back the human. In middle that we are trying to get the outside the human, we want to make it non-human centric. You make it trustworthy, extended. Extended is we are actually going beyond the firewalls of our company. So we are making sure that family 5.0 is also taken care. Okay? So more boxes there, data centric, fact based, integrated, human, question mark. पहले तो हम बात करते थे नहीं चाहिए human, right? We never bothered to be asking that, we are actually risking their jobs. Again here, no human, and human becoming critical. ठीक है? So next, I think it's going to be culmination now. You can take snapshot of this slide later on. We did not discuss the benefits, right? Reduce total cost of ownership, improve productivity, improve sales. These are all given. Maturity, Industry 4.0 is covering that. We are going beyond that. Okay, so what is that we want to make smart? So we want to have robotics, Internet of Things, big data, cloud, cyber security. It resonates to something. Industry 4.0. Out of those 9 pillars, digital twin, digital thread, AR, VR, right? Remote monitoring, system integration, additive manufacturing. A bit about additive manufacturing, how it impacts manufacturing is basically it removes manufacturing as a process. You create something as a 3D model and you print it. Click, print, it will create your product. The whole manufacturing process is completely collapsed. This is part that is coming. And I think you talked about the real heart, right? If they are making real heart, human heart, what else? I mean, everything has to be threatened. All products that we can make. Again, adaptability, whether the material is available, whether it is cost effective, whether we can use it, how much of size of 3D printing, all that is something that we'll leave it there. Okay? So artificial intelligence comes here, machine learning, deep learning, blockchain. I think that covers the overall map. You can take a snapshot of this. I'll give some more slides to create some background and I'll then stop. Claps for you to have listened to me. Okay, these are some use cases that I want to leave it to you. You can take a snapshot. I don't want to talk about predictive maintenance, design, development. All that is mundane. We need to talk about something that we want to actually really make manufacturing advanced manufacturing. On manufacturing, there is a long way that we want to go. There is a good, nice, do we have time? You can play this. I don't know whether I can play this. Just click this. Okay. A very interesting one to basically, how much is, okay, it is not, all right. So somebody gets a phone. I'm not able to play. Can we attach the audio? Possible audio? Okay. So she basically brings out her phone. Okay, technology-wise, a small phone which is a makeup kit, and everybody gets impressed. Now somebody gets a phone call. Aux मध्ये लावा ते. पलीकडे. So she opens that phone. The point is that we don't want to go and regress in technology by trying to do too much of technology. So how much of AI that we should do, we should actually control ourselves. Somebody else gets a call. Nobody realizes, oh, she gets that actually from the shoe. Moshi moshi, she says. So we are going advanced and advanced. The smaller phone is becoming bigger, if you can see that, right? Everybody is surprised, oh, there is a phone in your shoe. Wow, wonderful. Now again, there is a call. And there is a tennis racket now getting used as a phone. Imagine that the size is definitely increasing. It is not mini and small as a smartphone somebody was having. नहीं होते का आवाज? ठीक है. Then there is a next phone call comes. Everybody looks at each other. They're trying to make it more funny. कहाँ से आ रहा है? आवाज कहाँ से आ रहा है? See this person is looking here and there, right? See that? Ooh. That is his phone. And mostly he gets a call from his wife. Says sorry. Oh, everybody says. And then there is a sound for the next phone. Everybody looks here and there. Look at this. This is the climax. See the size of the phone. So the point that I'm driving here is that, let's not go too much into AI. Look at, for your organization, for your use case, how much of AI or smart manufacturing or 5.0 is required, and just stick to that. Let's not regress. Let's not get into something which is, leading us to dark factories or, skew focus on KPIs rather than being human and, bringing that focus back. I think that is the point that I'm trying to drive here. With this, the summary, it is a huge market. Everything actually gets impacted in manufacturing. There's a huge amount of advantages. I don't need to sell that. You have a good footprint of Industry 5.0, very, very well defined. There are no takers in India that I am actually talking about where anybody has shown interest in 5.0. There are a couple of ones that I'm working on, a couple of large group companies, but still, there is a strong hesitation. So look at this, all the possible use cases that you see. If you want to make it smart, intelligent, predictable, definitely AI is going to help you there. This is the way to do it, and let's make it profitable. Thank you. I'll leave it here. If you have questions, I'm available for questions. So the names of companies which are actually working on the risk is OpenAI, DeepMind, Entropy, Center for AI, CSET, CHAI. You can take a photograph of this later. These are the people working on the risk for AI. Yeah. Somebody mentioned about expandable AI and discrete AI. The definition for expandable and discrete AI has got specific defined inputs that you give, while explainable AI does not have it. Okay, so there is a difference between the way model is created. I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really interesting. I would now request if Mr. Dheeraj Nahar could come up to the stage and felicitate Mr. Kulkarni.